pressure. How you doing, baby? Happy. I'm getting a late start. Friday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Coffee and Conversation with Shakenya, and hit subscribe. Dang, guys. Look at some of the videos. And if you see any of them that you like, please just hit share. Dang, just hit share one time. Just share one video, and I won't say it no more. I won't ask you. Good one. I appreciate that. Yeah, I would. So, guys, today, let me see. I got a few things to do. Couple things going on, right? So I'm trying to make it real quick and simple. I had to get another book. Remind me to get another book because I done ran out of pages. So if you see me jumping around all in a disarray, it's because I am. So we talked about, because right now we're raising our daughters, and we are in part 70. 75 was yesterday, so I would label this 76. And I'm not going to say so much of pausing because everything I'm talking about was going on in 2017. So I'm not straying away from what we're talking about. But I am trying to keen in a little bit more on the manipulation tips. Just so you can see them in action. You can see how they work. And hopefully you won't do this to your baby. Yeah, hopefully you and your baby mama or baby daddy can get along. Right? Hopefully y'all can find a rapport after the breakup. Hopefully y'all can find a medium or middle, something to the effect that y'all both know that y'all both have a part to play in this baby's life, or y'all both have a role to play, and both of y'all are necessary. Like in 2017, another key element I would like to pull out, she had two loving parents. She had two loving parents that were stable. She had two loving parents that supported her in everything that she did. She had two loving parents. I remember one day she was running for something because he signed her up for cheer, right? They only used me for rides, right? So he took charge and did all this stuff and was at the football games and got to be seen and this and that. I picked her up. I dropped her off. I did all that, right? But she was running for something. Didn't even tell me, didn't discuss it with me, and I thought that was a little weird considering that by this time I've introduced them to politics, right? So them coming with me to the campaign office, the couple times that I did volunteer, me talking about my aspirations for running for office, things of that nature. It was like, if you want to run for something like that, that would have been something that she would have let me know. That way we could have worked on a campaign. We could have did it the right way, right? But no, they tell me the day of that she's supposed to have a table set up. Her dad down made water with her name on it, the labels to put on the water bottles and this and that. So he don't have ample time to help prepare for whatever this is that was going on and whatever she was so unfair, right? So I go to the dollar store, I go get some decorations, I go get some of the colors that I see, I come back, try to help set up the board and whatnot. So me and him were working together and we were both there. But he always did things to try to always put me at a disadvantage, right? He'll find out something first and he'll hold it, wouldn't share, wouldn't tell me, right? If he did tell me, it would be the last minute, or it would be because he can't get off work and probably needed me to take the baby, right? Never to be inclusive, right? That's a manipulation tip. So we're going to add that on to 11 to the discussion that we're talking about, right? So for the last couple days, I pretty much brought up 17 of the manipulation tips that Dad was using in 2017, and we've discussed 10 because I really wanted to break them down. I wanted you to see how they work, how they operate. I wanted you to see the psychological damage for yourself, right? Without using any key terms or without trying to make it too difficult. I wanted you to see it for yourself. I wanted you to see how it unfolded, right? So we're going to just stay here just for a second with a few of them, right? Like I said, I broke them down to you because I wanted you to see. I wanted you to see how my family was torn apart. Yeah, because 2017, we are so tight. Everything is so, I can't say, it was a normal family. Everything was normal. Even her going to stay with her dad on the weekend and on the summer and being with me Monday through Friday, that was even normal. Because that's typically how it goes when parents divorce. The child stays with one parent primarily and then visits the other parent, or they working together. Typical divorce rate is so high, right? Only if we can stay together. Right? And I'm not saying stay together just for the sake of the kids. I'm not saying that. But what if we can actually stay together? Right? Raise the kids together. Right? So at this time in 2017, even though me and her dad are no longer together, she's not growing up in a broken home, because me and dad seems like we're cooperating with one another. Right? Seems like we get along. Right? Yeah, I didn't know we were even beefed out. All I know is that I'm taking her to practice. I'm doing everything that a mama's supposed to do. I can't see nothing wrong. We have a normal life, right? The only thing that might not be normal to some is the fact that I started a family business by this time. Right now, we're all cleaning together with the cleaning company. That same cleaning company that I had it then, right? So that's about the only thing. And that might not be different. I know a lot of people that have family businesses and their children come to work with them and learning the trade and learning and working. So it's not odd for me, right? It's not odd for me. I know a couple black-owned businesses and this family operated, right? So I don't know if it's because I purposely shop black. I don't know if it's because I purposely look for black-owned establishments to spend my money with. I don't know if that's the reason why, but the businesses that I know and patronize, yeah, they're family-owned. So, yeah, other than that, we had a normal life. Yeah, outside of just starting a business, we had a normal life, right? So, yeah, the manipulation tips that dad is using that we already discussed, fix it, Jesus. Why would he be using them? Because, again, all this is alleged. Yep, I don't know for sure. I don't know what happened. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm delusional. Yep, Mike Epps, check him out. Delusional on Netflix. It's funny, right? Yeah, I can't tell you. And that's part of it. That's part of it. So I'm quite sure whatever narrative behind that is him making people feel like or think that I have some type of mental disorder, mental breakdown, delusional, don't know what's going on, incompetent. That's why he had to get the baby, right? Because I still don't know the narrative, but it got to be something juicy like that. For me to just let a dad take over, a dad, first of all, right? An inexperienced dad, second of all, a dad that's suffering from childhood traumas, unhealthy, a dad. That's all I'm going to just say. A girl just turning my daughter over to a dad and saying it's okay. Because that might be the narrative too. That I felt like she was in a better space if she stayed with dad. Bullshit, all of it, right? So here to let you know, not in the plans. Never wanted it to be. Never wanted her to live with dad. I even wrote in the book that in the will that I was going to put if I died before dad to make sure that the kids got custody of the baby. Real shit. It's in the book. Ooh, fix it, Jesus. It's a Christian show. It's in the book. Because I did not want him and his mama raising my baby. Because I did not want her to be like him. So her living with him and solely with him is one of my greatest fears. Me not being a part of her life or me, but it was in my narrative, it was me passing. Something happened and I was no longer here, right? But for me to still be alive and she's being raised by him and his mama and them, it's a nightmare for me, right? But that's to add on to my torment. Because when I tell you everything that I tried to shelter my children from, they have been exposed to it in the last 6 years. The only way something like that can happen and the only way it can be total destruction is somebody has to know within, right? That's usually a situation where you're being betrayed. That's usually a situation where it's a friend that knows the secrets and go tell, or somebody that knows your business and they go and compete against you. Stuff like that. Little snaky stuff, right? Yeah, fix it, Jesus, fix it. So I don't know exactly why, right? And dad's reasoning. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is me leaving. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of me is just leaving and hurting him so bad because I'm no longer there. And I know that seems vain. I know it might seem vain to you. I know. It might seem like I'm a narcissist. It might seem like I'm, over, you know what I'm saying? All about myself, right? No, it's the truth because I was a good wife, right? So that loss is the only thing I can think of. And then what I did the dreadful night that I told y'all about, right? And then you got to think about it. I apologize for that. I apologize for what I did the dreadful night, even though he was an unforgiving person. Remember, he was still blaming his daddy for stealing Christmas. You're a grown-ass man. You shouldn't still be blaming daddy for stealing Christmas, right? You should just be a better daddy, right? So, no, he's one of those narcissists. They never forgive. They never forget. They hold you, right? So he didn't forgive me, but I did apologize. Didn't apologize for leaving the marriage, though. Right? Did not apologize for that at all. Actually, just let him know that I wish we could have made it work. Right? I wish everything that we had trying to stay together, I wish it would have worked, and I wish we could have stayed together. Right? But never apologize for filing a divorce because we weren't meant to be. Right? We weren't evenly yoked. Right? Weren't even yoked. I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard for a healed person to be with somebody that's not healed. You can do it. It happens. I know people that's still together, and but it's rocky. It's unhealthy. It ain't good, right? But they together. They still together. Yeah, it's hard to be with somebody after you now found out your problems and your twerks, and you went and you've healed, and you're living a good, nice, healthy life as a result of it, and then your partner is unhealed, don't believe in therapy, ain't trying to get no treatment, ain't trying to fix themselves, right? That's hard to deal with, right? It's hard to deal with. It's hard to deal with the mood swings. It's hard to deal with the ups and the downs. It's hard to deal with somebody who's emotionally unbalanced and somebody who's depressed all the time because they refuse to go help themselves. It's hard for you if you don't do drugs to be with an addict. I know people that do it. I know people that stay. They find it in their heart to stay in that situation, right? Again, unhealthy, typically unhappy, right? It's hard for you to love yourself enough to not use drugs, and then you living with somebody that's destroying themselves and killing themselves and doing it on purpose and don't want to get no. It's hard, right? It's hard. So fix it. Jesus, when we was in a relationship, I urged him to get help. Yeah. So in the marriage, tried marriage counseling, right? Soon as it got to a point where he was going to have to see the therapist by himself, all of a sudden he didn't want to go no more. Right. So that means when it was time for him to get help for himself individually, he didn't want to do that, right? So yeah, I couldn't stay in a marriage like that. Yeah. On top of him being abusive, on top of him and his mama having an inappropriate relationship, it was too much to bear, right? It was too much for a marriage. I couldn't do it, right? And by me having, knowing my self-worth, having high self-esteem, being confident, me knowing myself and loving myself, I'm going to put me and my children first. And I got out of it, right? So fix it. Jesus, fix it. Fix it. So yeah, if you're in a marriage, before you call it quits and said that you tried everything, if you ain't been to marriage counseling or some type of therapy or some type of mediator, you ain't tried everything, right? Do what you can to try to hold on to the relationship and keep it together. Not for the sake of the kids, but just remember why y'all got together, right? You'll be surprised how many marriages end over something so simple, something so silly, something as far as just not communicating with one another, right? Not expressing what you really need and what you really want, right? The other person trying to give you what they think you need instead of asking you what you want and what you need, right? Little stuff like that. You'll be surprised at keeping a relationship together, right? So y'all, I'm jumping all over the place because I need another book. So before I dump the other 7 manipulation tips that Dad was using on you, we're going to snuggle a little bit with the ones that we've talked about over these last couple days, right? And we're just going to reflect just a little bit, right? So as I run a few of them down to you, if your baby mama or baby daddy was doing these things to your child, how do you think your relationship would be? I know you're looking at your baby now pretty much. I'm going to just talk to the mamas a little bit, but this applies to mama and daddies. But I'm going to talk to the mamas, and you're looking at your daughters, if you have daughters, and you're looking at the relationship that you have. In 2017, I had a beautiful relationship with my daughters. Like I said, they wasn't giving me no back talk, no sass, no attitude. We worked together in everything that we did. They confided in me. We had a good open line of communication. We were close. I kiss my daughters. I hug them all the time. I tell them I love them every time I see them. Like such a loving bond, loving relationship. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever thought that I would have an estranged relationship with any of my children, especially one of my daughters, right? And to know that a father is behind it, right? Because what father really going to encourage a daughter to sass her mama or disrespect her mama or be out of her mother's life? What dad is really going to encourage that? Right? What dad is really going to encourage you to leave your mama and never speak to your mama again? What dad is really going to do that? Like I say, my baby daddy was diabolical, right? So like I said, some of the things that he did that I know for a fact that he did and was doing in 2017, if your baby daddy was doing it, how do you think it would affect the relationship that you have with your daughter? How would your daughter see you, right? How would y'all relationship be if your baby daddy was doing some of the things that my baby daddy was doing? How would your relationship be with your daughter if your baby daddy was telling your daughter to keep secrets from you and not tell you stuff, not talk to you, not listen to you, and not do what you say? All of that. All of that in different conversations, all of that in different visits, all of that. How do you think the relationship would be with your daughter when she came home with you? Huh? You got her cleaning up. You got her doing stuff. You telling her to do stuff 2 or 3 times. She ain't listening to you and she ain't doing what you say. How do you think that relationship is going to look when every time she come home it's always punishment because she getting in trouble because she not doing what you say? But on the other end, she go over dad's house. She living the life. She living it up. She doing whatever she want to do. There are no consequences for the actions that's being caused at your house. Just total disregard and disrespect for how you being treated as the mom, right? How would your relationship be? Pretty good. Okay. What if dad and her was having inappropriate conversations where they talking bad about you and they both expressing how much they hate you and they both expressing the things that they don't like that you do, and over again, that's the only thing that they talking about. Every conversation, that's the only thing that they talking about is what they dislike about you, right? How your daughter looking at you now? What type of relationship you think you and your daughter have? She still love you the same? It's still lovey-dovey? She doing what you say? She not giving you no lip, no sass? Yep. Now, the only thing in my situation that scares me to death is the fact that the baby didn't distribute. She didn't show none of that. None of the adverse effect that you probably would get from a child that's being groomed or on the other side being taught something different, right? When she was at my house, I didn't get the sass. I didn't get the lip. I might have to tell her maybe once or twice to clean her room. That was a problem for me. But that was the only thing, right? I see some of the things that y'all parents allow y'all kids to just get away with. No discipline, no nothing. Y'all just, that was it. So I'm not catching on that none of this is going on. Yep. She's showing me love. She's showing me respect. She doing as she's told, like the other kids. She's acting like she should, being one of my kids, right? She's a mentor in the program. I would never have picked none of this up, right? So that scares me because that's a different personality. Yep. That's a different personality from the one that she is when she's with dad, right? So I got this loving young lady in my presence that does everything that's expected of her, that's excelling. I got this in my presence, but this is the same young lady that texts dad calling me by my first name and asking if I deserve something for Mother's Day. The same loving little girl that I'm hugging and kissing on that's telling me that she loved me is the same little girl that texts her father and asks, should I get Shakenya something for Mother's Day? Do she deserve anything? And a dad is saying, LOL, what you think, right? 2 different personalities. Yeah. So that was a little scary. That's a little scary. So yeah, how would the relationship be with you and your baby if that was going on? How would it be if your baby daddy's mama was talking shit about you? Every time the baby come over, she's saying stuff like, will your mama get that outfit from the Goodwill? Her broke, she can't do this, she can't do that. What she do lately? What if all it was negative talk when the baby went to the grandparents' house? This big mom. This the lady that's supposed to love everybody, that's supposed to be taking care of all the kids on the block. This is the big mom that when you come over there, you need a place to stay. Big mom gonna let you sleep on her couch. This the big mom that when you come over, she gonna feed you. This the big mom, right? No, not this grandma. This grandma talking shit about me, right? But what if your baby daddy's mother was talking about you every time that baby came over, as if she hated you, as if you was the other woman? Yeah, because that inappropriate relationship that some mothers have with their sons, that's how it be, right? Similar to Everybody Loves Raymond. You see how the mama treats Raymond different than she treats the other son? Do you see how the mom treats the wife, right? What's that song? What's that movie? Damn. Act Like a Man, Something Like a Woman, Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman. That's Steve Harvey. Michael and Candace relationship. And how Michael and his mama was. I'm sorry, guys. That inappropriate relationship. How the mama didn't want Candace to marry the son. How she was acting like that was her man. Inappropriate. I would throw a couple more at you. Jim Jones is wild. No, I'm just saying, y'all. That's enough. So yeah, very inappropriate. Yeah, so how would that relationship be with your daughter once she come home to you? After she not been around these people all weekend talking shit about you? How would your relationship be? Would she still respect you as her mother? Would she still look at you the same? She already not listening to you. She already not doing what you say now because they told her not to. And then when they told her that, they rewarded her with some new shoes or an iPhone or something that she wanted. So they rewarding her for bad behavior. So now this behavior is being condoned. So now morals and values are starting to come into play, right? Because if you that parent that teach that ethics class, you teaching your baby to do what's right when nobody's looking. You teaching your baby to treat others like they want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? But if this other side of the family is teaching this child something completely different, now you got two sets of morals and values that's being instilled. When does it end, right? Fix it. Jesus. So how is your relationship looking with your daughter now? Right? She probably getting fast right about now. She probably got lip on her right now. She probably acting sassy, acting grown. Well, yeah, because she's having inappropriate conversations with grown folks. Yeah, if your baby daddy is talking to her about parenting concerns, and your baby daddy is talking to her about what he don't like about you, and your baby daddy is allowing her to disrespect you and talk bad about you, that's an inappropriate conversation that an adult is having with a child. Right? Some of the same language that they would have talking to a grown person, right? So now you got your daughter thinking she grown. So what's going to come with that? Little boyfriend. Yeah, that's why she had a little boyfriend. Back when I know I couldn't figure it out, right? Because I didn't have that issue with the oldest, right? Oldest still didn't have a boyfriend. She was 18 in the nursing program. She still wasn't messing around with no little boy at that time, right? So for the baby to have a full-blown boyfriend relationship that dad is condoning and okay with, I couldn't understand where the logic was coming from. But now that I know on the back end what was taking place, yeah, she was grown. Yeah, yikes, right? But how would that relationship be, right? What if your baby daddy wasn't using none of the C's of co-parenting? None of them. Not even the obvious ones. None of them around that baby. Yeah, I know. I ain't gonna tell you, so I was gonna tell you. No, that's part of your test. I ain't telling you nothing. Yeah, but how would that relationship be? What if your baby daddy didn't encourage the relationship that your daughter should have with your other children? Oh, what if he was playing that game? If he was making a difference in the kids? What if he was labeling the kids that you have? You gave birth to all these children, but what if you mismanaged your coochie and you got a couple baby daddies, right? This baby daddy right here, what if he is making a difference in your children? What if he is labeling your children when he talks to your daughter that they have siblings, them your half brothers, what if he's desensitizing how she should feel about those children, right? Fix it. Jesus, how do you think the relationship would be between your children and that baby, or your child that you have by that baby daddy, right? It's going to cause tension. It's going to cause friction. Yep. One child is going to be looked at as if they think they better than the other siblings when they all should be on the same playing field, on the same level. Oh, baby, when you're making a difference out of the children, that's another manipulation tip that I think was being made, right? So, Fix It Jesus, how's the relationship between the children now? Right? I know. Fix It Jesus. I'm just asking. Because if this is what baby daddies do, right? Because my other baby daddy didn't do it. So maybe he didn't behave that way because he probably didn't care about his child. I don't know. Because I don't know too many baby daddies that behave in a manner of mine, right? Especially not to the degree of me not having no contact with my daughter in the last 6 years. Why wouldn't she want to call me? Why wouldn't she love me? Why wouldn't she respect me, right? Why wouldn't she want a mom? Everybody wants a mom. Right? My mama was a substance abuse user, and when I tell you I wish she was still here, even if it was to go and cuss her out all the time and give her money or bring her and try to put her in a rehab place, whatever our struggle would have been, I would prefer my mama to be here than not, right? So for her to just throw everything that we had away, right? She just threw me away. All of them just threw me away. Threw me and my whole family away. Yeah, my whole family miss her. Yeah, my mom's side and my dad's side ask about her every time they talk to me. They ask how she's doing, and I can't give them no answers, right? I don't know how she's doing. I haven't talked to her, right? So it's sad. Everybody's sad because she grew up with everybody. Yep, we had a healthy situation. Even though my mom and dad were teenage parents, they worked together and the families worked together to raise me. So I grew up with both sides of the family. And when you grow up with both sides of the family, you have a healthy balance, right? So in that village that I was raised in, everybody know each other, right? I have pictures of my cousin, one on my dad's side and one on my mom's side, at an event together, and I'm not even there. Right? My 50th birthday party, one of my cousins called the other cousin and they connected and got my cake, got my balloons, and made sure I was good for my little birthday party, right? That's the type of stuff that you do when you're raised in a village, right? And when you're fortunate enough to have both sides of the family working together to raise you, right? She had that in 2017, so I thought, right? So I thought. So guys, I think that's it. Your test is going to be a take-home test. I know you happy. I know. Yeah. So now you get a chance to go back and look at the video from Saturday and get all the answers, right? First, I want to know all the classes that I taught. So that means you got to write down all the classes that I taught. Yep. The next thing, I need you to list the co-parenting workshop. I need you to list all 8 weeks of the parenting workshop. Yep. And last but not least, I need you to write down all the C's of co-parenting. Yep. That's it. You got all weekend. Look at the video as often as you like. Right? Oh, I'll tell you to get a copy of my book. Get a copy of my book, Dysfunctional Family Life. You can get it from lulupublishing.com. You can get it from Amazon. And you can get it from Urban City Publishing. Yeah. Please. I'm trying to be famous. Can't you tell? Don't this look like the office of somebody that was trying to make it? Don't this look like the office of somebody that was trying to make something happen? Yeah, it do. And then to be an author, right? And then to have a youth program where I deal with children with behavior issues. And then to have a radio show where I promote black-owned business. Doesn't that seem like the type of person that was really trying to make something happen? And then to have a cleaning company where I've employed at least 15 people. I know for a fact I've employed these 15 people since I've had the cleaning company. Don't that seem like an ambitious woman? Doesn't that seem like a woman where there's no ceiling? Doesn't that seem like the type of woman that's going to get out there and get it? She a go-getter. She going to make it happen. It do, don't it? Ain't that the type of woman you probably would want your daughter to look up to and be like? Right, I know. Why was so much done to ruin my reputation? I know. That's that jealousy seed we talked about. I know. Ain't that terrible? I know. Let me shoot some ways to Instagram because they show me so much love. I got to get out of here. I am so behind today. All right. I got to get that time back somewhere. Yep. I did not manage my time well today, people. I will tell you that. But I am going to get everything done. I'll tell you that too.